next two lands we're going to discuss are Galaxy's Edge and Mickey's Toontown. So we'll start off with Galaxy's Edge. Dre, what do you feel is the future for Galaxy's Edge?
Oh, God. That restaurant, man. Let's get that freaking restaurant. Like, that is like the thing. Even in some ways more than an actual attraction, which there is an expansion space. Actually, right. I believe there's an expansion space in both Galaxy's Edges on both coasts to have a third attraction. That would the intention was always to have the ability to expand if required. I think that, we'll see that someday, whether it be part of Galaxy's Edge or even part of Toontown, who knows? But I think that expansion space will be used for something in the future. I think the restaurant, I think it's obvious. Like, just do the restaurant. I mean, everybody wants it. Everybody's blowing cash and all kinds of stuff. Not just at Walt Disney World, but in Disneyland in some respects. I think it's a natural fit. Come on, let's get the restaurant. Maybe we might see more of that when the Star Wars Hotel opens up and they kind of have a handle on themed experiences and overhead and that kind of thing. Can you justify the cost of something like that in a theme park setting? Maybe we'll find out with those things. But it's kind of interesting that we buttressed Toontown in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in the way we did when visiting the park today. Because I think that one of the most natural things is, can we have a bridge or connecting point between Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Toontown? I think it would be good and beneficial for both lands in terms of visitation, stuff like that. It doesn't feel so much as a dead end, but a continuation of the two stories, and that kind of movement I think will be really, really good for the park.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I really want to see, and it's been rumored, and I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I think it will. I do think it will, is a loosening of the timeline. There's been so much going on with Star Wars, like, since the sequel trilogy. I mean, Mandalorian was an enormous hit.
Still is.
There
he is.
There you go. The man of the
there
hour.
You go.
He wanted to speak on it. He wants to be a part of the future.
Yeah, we need to have at least a meet and greet or something with Mando. Let's get him. We got to loosen up. I think Avengers Campus did a good job at sort of having fun and not being so married to the timeline. And I kind of want to see Star Wars break away from that in Galaxy's Edge and have fun. You can have the land be kind of like a neutral kind of timeline, and then you enter a time period in the individual attractions.
Like you do in Cars Land,
Exactly. So I think that would be very, very cool. Rudio, what are your thoughts? The future of Batuu. Where are we going with this land?
Grogu, he's talking. Give me 1 second.
Oh, go ahead.
He just agreed with everything you just said, OG.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Get this little guy in the parks. Get him in a meet and greet situation. Get Mando in there. Get everything that everybody loves of that show in the parks. It's simple as that.
Yes.
The show, obviously one of the biggest hits off of Disney Plus since its launch. I would probably say even more so than the sequel trilogy. People are more a fan of The Mandalorian than
it's one of the very few things you can get all the fans together on.
Exactly.
And all of them kind of agree.
Exactly.
Whether it's sequel, prequel, whatever.
Exactly. And I'm going to co-sign also on Vash's point. Get that restaurant in there. The space is there. The space has always been there. It's just getting the appropriate people to act on it, get the entertainment in there, because you have best of both worlds. You have entertainment that was in the art, and then also another dining experience. We need more Disney dining.
Yep.
Simple as that. As far as the attractions are concerned, I would love Millennium Falcon to get more options or more paths as far as the same one that you're getting. I would hope maybe they would incorporate Mandalorian into that in some way, or maybe just another mission with Hondo.
Yeah.
Simple as that. It's easy programming. I know that it's running off of the Unreal Engine.
Mm-hmm.
So
sure is.
Get those guys to come up with another mission. That'd be great. Rise of the Resistance is perfection.
Yeah, it is.
I chef's kiss.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
It's great.
Don't touch it. Leave it as is.
Mm-hmm.
It's been doing high numbers for boarding groups. I think we've gone all the way up to 350 now, if I'm not mistaken. So the better and more accessible that ride is to more people, the more people are experiencing it, and that's always better. It's got repeat value because every time you think you've seen the whole ride, you don't. You're always missing just one little thing here or there. So I've been on the ride 5 times now, and every time I felt like it was a new experience, and that's great because for a ride like that, you would think it would be a one-time sort of ordeal. It's not. It's got replay value. Keep it the way it is. Just like Vash said, dining, OG, bring Grogu.
Yes. And really, one thing that I would really need to see in this land too is, because I think the foundation of the land itself is flawless. It's immersive. It's beautiful. We need some more, like, I want like music or something, but I don't want it like piped in the bushes. I'd like some alien bands to come through and play music and add some life like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen bands in like New Orleans Square, for example. You know,
right.
I mean, it's
Dapper
the
Dance.
various music apps. Yeah, something like that would be, like you said, OG. That'd be fantastic. You know, in terms of Rise of Resistance does about 1,500 an hour right now. Uptime is getting better, but it's still. You know what? Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, the uptime of that is just incredible, and it really does eat people in a way that people might not think or expect. Mm-hmm. Talking about uptime and consistency, when Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run actually did reach its 1 million riders for the first time, you could actually track, if you did the math, like how many people it does per hour and by the day, and it hit almost that time period exactly. I mean, that's how great the uptime actually is on that attraction. And if you could get multiple missions in there and maybe relieve some pressure off rides, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's pivot now to Toontown, Mickey's Toontown, which I tell you, this land is the land that keeps on going. We thought a couple years ago this thing was not going to last. Star Wars was moving in. Toontown was a goner, dead land walking, but it isn't. We're getting Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway in like a year or 2 years, I guess. Give or take. So it lives, and I think that ride pretty much cements its place for a while. Rudio, what are your thoughts on Toontown, the future of Toontown?
Like you said, I was reading its obituary. I was ready to go to the funeral. I had my black clothes ready, but then they came out with that announcement in 2019. And man, oh man, I'm excited for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. It's going to be so cool just to see a Mickey ride in the park.
Yeah.
We've never seen anything like this. The technology that it's bringing, same technology with Rise of the Resistance, trackless vehicles, and maybe it's a different edition than the Walt Disney World version.
I think it'll be at least slightly different because we don't have to work within the parameters of an existing building. I think they're gonna utilize that to their advantage. They're starting it from scratch. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see new elements.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Vash brought it up earlier, an entry point, just a connection from Toontown to Galaxy's Edge. Because there's many times I've been in the park and I'm all the way at Small World or at the train station right there. And then I'm thinking to myself, I have a mobile order at Galaxy's Edge and I've got to walk all the way around through Fantasyland just to get to Galaxy's Edge. How great would it be if you could just walk through Toontown to get to the back of the Galaxy's Edge?
Oh, yeah.
It would so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, Chippendale's Treehouse isn't open right now, right? They got rid of the side, they got rid of the ball pit. Just have it right through there, and it's perfect.
Simple.
You're right on the other side, and hey, maybe it can give bump in the numbers to something like Edge's Go Coaster because it's so close to that kind of thoroughfare. Oh, perfect.
No, that wouldn't affect the fireworks, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because we have the suspicion that the fireworks are being executed off the top of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Is that what we believe right now?
Yeah, there is at least multiple launch points for some pyrotechnics off of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. That's correct. Okay.
So if we were to make a pathway from Toontown to Galaxy's Edge, do you think that would be affected in some way?
No. Okay. I don't think so. I think we're gonna be good to go there. I mean, those fireworks do feel like they're right over your head when they're coming off in Galaxy's Edge. Yeah. And if you wanted to, you could tunnel it or so forth. There's some ideas, but no, I don't think that'll have any impact.
Because they do use that space for extended queue of Millennium Falcon when it does get that way. So
it sure does. It sure does. Yeah. My guess is that that extended queue area that would be used for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run when it does get really bad, that would be part of it. Maybe the third attraction expansion space might provide some real estate there for that connection to be made, but we'll see.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting, and it kind of all depends too, because you mentioned the Chippendale Treehouse, the ball pit, well, the former ball pit. Chippendale, they got a new series coming out on Disney Plus. If Vasco catches fire, who knows?
I don't know. Maybe,
I don't know. I'm very doubtful. I'm very doubtful. But we'll see. I'm very, actually, to be quite honest with you, I'm very surprised that the Mickey cartoons have taken off like they have. Not that they're bad. I'm surprised that they're as popular as they are. They've gone on for years and years and years and years. Like, I actually liked DuckTales a lot more, the reboot. Yeah. And then they canceled that like in 2 or 3 seasons.
3
seasons. And Mickey is like still going strong. So you never know. This Chippendale Park Life thing might be hot. You never know.
Who knows? I do hope that Toontown gets just a revitalization, a new life throughout this whole thing. I think I'm pretty confident in saying that there was maybe a bigger plan before the pandemic in terms of revitalizing Toontown than there might be, post that point and before Mickey and Minnie's Railway is actually completed. So I'm not expecting anything too ambitious, but hey, man, I mean, it's like if you're gonna have if this land's gonna have a new lease on life, it's gonna have renewed attention placed on it. Let's up the standards a little bit and get it show ready.
Yeah, exactly. And let's get that like we talked about in a former video. Let's get that projection mapping on the backdrop, right? So we can have like cartoon hills and a cartoon moon and a cartoon sun. JPEG, open up that wallet, buddy. Let's spend it.
Go ahead, Rudio.
I was going to mention right now we are experiencing, because of the social distancing and whatnot, a different type of meet and greet in Toontown. So Mickey and Minnie are hanging out in front of their houses. You're not particularly going through their house and then hitting that final meet and greet area. With that going forward, do you believe if Disney were to keep going with the way they're doing the meet and greets now, is there a reason we keep those houses? I mean, we keep the facade, but is there a reason to keep anything other than that?
I heard a very ambitious concept to get Arendelle into Disneyland back a little while ago. And part of it involved the Fantasyland Theater, but the other part of it involved the residential half of Toontown. So Toontown's laid out. You have the residential section, the kind of town square section, and then you have the downtown section. Taking all the residential section, maybe even into that expansion pad that they have next to Galaxy's Edge, and turning that as part of like an Arendelle kind of thing, because it was just, they could make do without those houses.
Mm-hmm.
But look, you make a good point. If you're not gonna, because Mickey's house takes up quite a bit of backstage area. Yeah. So if you could do without them, I don't know, Rudy. It might be onto something here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's just to expand, even if it's just to kind of reimagine Toontown, getting rid of the houses to put a little dark ride there or something. I mean, you know, really, it is kind of like a lot of wasted space. I mean, and I know that sounds terrible because I know a lot of kids love those little houses and stuff, but I mean, they have these entire structures dedicated basically just to meet and greets.
Yeah.
You know, you could probably put something a little more substantial in there.
It's not as efficient as it could be.
Exactly.
There's a better use for that. And as for if you do want to have meet and greets, those could be really relocated in other parts of the land. And in that way, it just opens up the whole thing.
Yeah.